Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Dylan Silver, and today on the show I have a real estate investor, broker, specializing in the commercial space and also land as well, based out of Phoenix, Arizona, Bryce Perez. Bryce, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you, Bryce. And I always like to start off at the top by asking folks how they got into the real estate space.
Oh, you're taking me way back. So my mom, back in 2002, she's like, I was working as a flight attendant for some company called American Transair. They no longer exist. Anyway, she's like, you were going to be good at real estate. And I think that if you give this a chance, it could become something. And so how I started, we started out renovating houses. So before I got my license, I actually renovated a house, and that's what started the journey.
So you went from the rehab space into the single family residential is where I'm imagining that it was.
Yeah.
Did you know that you were going to look at it from the investor standpoint, or were you thinking, I'm going to go and list homes and help people get into their homes and so on and so forth?
It started out as let's fix and flip a few homes. Did it, and then it evolved into, well, I like being around properties, and why not get my license? And so then at the time, my friends were also, they were really in real estate. They were real estate brokers, and they're like, yeah, you should
Yeah.
do it. And why don't you get your license and we'll show you how, come work with us. And that's kind of how it started. And so I was, for working with first home time buyers, that's what you start with.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't do any leasing. Then, eventually a year or two in, I maybe did one listing. It's like, whoa, this is different. And so, it was like, what, 2003, it goes way back, right? I mean, um, everything was so different then. And, I was really young, and so it's a long time ago, but it seems like a lifetime ago. But yeah, I mean, with time, you get experience and you learn, and you take a lot of classes and a lot of attend
Yeah.
a ton of seminars. I've been in those
One of the
seats.
things, one of the things, Bryce, when people talk about the journey and, going from point A to point B, I think a lot of people can relate to this. Sometimes people have it all mapped out, but I think that's kind of rare, especially in the real estate space, because things change every 5 years. The strategy that you used in 2019 probably doesn't work today to the exact same.
Sure.
And I see it a
Yeah.
lot too in the lending space, lenders who are making money hand over fist prior to the crash were not able to do the same if they were even in the business post Dodd-Frank and all the regulation that was passed. But as someone who's been, I would say, a full cycle investor, talking about early 2000s to today, and then also being on it from the real estate agent and the broker side, you have a diverse range of experience. At any point in time, was there a pivot point where you said, aha, this is the niche that I want to explore into? And what did that look like for you?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Oh man, that describes that existential moment that happens every like pretty much every couple of years. That's exactly what happens. You begin to discover like, oh, my cheese is moved in the maze, and now I need to figure out a new plan. So yeah, you've described it very well. That happens very often, and you have to pivot, right? The asset class, the territory in which you do it, the method in which you do it, how you communicate. So you asked me what are the things that I want to double down on or get more involved in, and it's being on social media. I was a non-social media person overall. My face and my voice was never anywhere. Um, and so for this year, I was like, okay, I'm going to change that. I'm going to make a purposeful effort to learn how to be on screen, be comfortable with it, and get into the let's talk about what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think a lot of people don't maybe believe like it's this thing that you're born with. I can say definitely not. Certainly wasn't for me. I would consider it just the same like going to the gym, or if you athlete getting your shots up. It's quite literally the same thing, because if I compare, my first podcast to now, it's just like a night and day. I don't even want to watch the first one because, Bryce, the lighting
Yeah.
was not good.
Oh,
I didn't have the
sure.
green screen, so you see like the
Yep.
bookshelf in the background, and I said, and then I'm not also able to understand just kind of the way you ebb and flow into conversations. And it's funny that you bring that up, because I've been doing this now for a minute now, and when I think about my conversations in day to day, just day to day, outside of digital world, outside of podcast, social media, oftentimes I'll be in a conversation with someone, and I'll see an angle that I might have seen from a podcast, and I'll be like, I want to kind of expound upon this and see if this person, invests in real estate, or maybe they would potentially be open to looking at deals and so on and so forth. And I kind of just work an angle, and before you know it, we're 40 minutes deep in conversation, and I'm inviting them to pickleball, and next thing you know, we're friends. And so these kind of, I would call them skills, really, are 100% learnable. And I think the more we see interconnected and remote work, and people being able to loan money across state lines, and people having licenses in multiple areas, I think we'll see more of this type of content, and more people doing the kind of remote type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so when I saw your post saying that you were looking for guests, I'm like, it's because, I do some short form podcasts, and, I've only interviewed two people. And so my second podcast interview is like probably the best content that I've ever done.
Nice.
And, I'm still learning how to ask the questions, but like, that I think that it's when people can see who you are and what you're about, how you think, that
Yeah.
that goes a long ways, because people like to do business with who they know and they trust. And old school is you call people, you show up, and that's still, I still do that. But I think going forward into the present and to the future, what we're doing right now, this is how it's going to be. So might
This
as well
is
embrace it.
so true.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I think it's quite, I would say, admirable. Anybody who hops on a podcast, specifically coming from maybe school of thought, old school, where I'm not going to put myself out there. I know guys, I know them, real estate guys, great guys, and I tell them, man, you're always talking shop. We're always talking shop. You can chop it up better than just about anybody. You need to just get on Facebook and just start recording some of this. And they're like, yeah, but I'm worried about boom, 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 freezing up or this type of thing. And it does kind of take like people, I would say, to really embrace it, to go down that route. I do want to pivot here a bit, Bryce, and talk
All right.
about some of the spaces that you're involved in on the investment front. And then also as a broker, I'm particularly interested in land. And I'll tell you why. So from the wholesale standpoint, a lot of the deals that I was previously looking at were distressed properties, right? Maybe potential hardship. And flippers would swoop those deals up because they were lower rates. Also, materials weren't where they are right now. It's now harder to be a flipper, which means that my business as a wholesaler is challenged because you really have to get these deals priced right, which means there's, more competition because beforehand maybe you could just get it under contract. Well, now you got to get it under contract, get it priced right. You got to have your buyers in hand and so on and so forth. This led me to taking a look at new builds. This led me taking a look at infill lots, RV parks, and even something that I'm learning about recently, which is just like rehabbing and rezoning land, right? And so you're involved in that space. What's the land space like for you?
You're asking a big question, right?
This is true.
Okay. So I'm going to frame it with that, which is the question that you ask is big and deep, as in, like, there's so much to it. When people think of land, they think, oh, well, it's easy. It's there. And like, how hard can it be? That philosophical question is like, ooh, like if Yoda could answer that question, you'd be scratching your head like, why didn't I ask that question? So just to give you like a scale of the types of people that I work with, I work with publicly listed companies that are looking to do projects that I can't talk about, that invest a sizable amount of money that everyone will talk
Sure.
about, to somebody who inherited money is like, you know what? My family made money from land and I want to honor my father. So I want to make money in land. It's like, okay, let's do that. Let's look at some strategies to place your money and let's make it grow. Then there's another group of people where like they bought it and they've had it, the land, and they haven't done anything with it. And I come along and it's like, hey, let's turn your property into cash. That's another set of people. And then there's the investors. So investors, they come in a few different types. Some, they have money or credit that they're going to place and they're going to buy the property, they're going to do something to it, and then we're going to sell it. So that's kind of like a fix and flip. Then there's the one that like what you're talking about. You're going to put it under contract and you're going to get permission to market it, and then you're going to market it. You could do that. There is inherent risk. The risk is obviously your earnest money. But if you know that and you're okay with that, so everyone's looking at dollar signs. Like,
Yeah.
there is there money to be made? Absolutely. Timing in land is a tricky thing. Timing is either going to kill you or timing is going to give you gains that are beyond anything that you can comprehend. But time, to have time on your side, the best, like if I was going to say get into this space, what you need to be thinking is how can I create value? Value creation, that right there, value creation, that works. That works. Like that works. You're not,
Right, right.
fix and flip, you create value, right? It's the same thing in land. Um,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
but if you're gonna try to sell something that you have on a contract prior to your contract expiration, you have to be very intimate with the market that you choose, and like you have to be surgical about it, and
Right.
you don't just go with every you don't I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this like the most blunt possible way. You need to learn to say no more than you say yes. I know that you go to the coaching classes and the seminars and they're like, just make offers. And somebody says yes, take it, put it on the deal. Sure, sure. But what you're doing is you're putting money at risk. So how much money do
Yeah.
you have to blow through? Right. So
Yeah.
you need to like learn how to cherry pick the heck out of deals.
You know,
So you gotta learn how
that's
to
a
say no.
that's a point, I think that is understated. And to your point, like people go, 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 go. But then there's also the perspective of, well, you're an investor, but you're also an asset manager, right? Because these are leads, right? So if you look at it, that earnest money, if you can't find an end buyer, they're going to take liquidated damages, take your money. And so and of course they're well within their right to do so. So I think, all these plays, there's risk, of course, specifically at the scale, but definitely if you're wholesaling a contract, there's absolutely that risk on the table. I want to pivot again, Bryce, and talk about a little bit about the commercial plays that you can do that involve land. So storage facilities. I know that you're involved in that, but another one that I've looked at is RV parks, and they even have like upscale luxury of those type of deals. What has been your experience in the storage space, for instance?
I'm going to talk about a situation, but I'm not going to give you the specifics only because the property is not yet built. And
Sure.
when I help people find a site and do something with it, I'm not allowed to talk about it, right? But I'm going to give you the concepts. And the concept is value creation. So this particular client, it was my listing, mind you. I drove down this road for like 2 years because I had this listing in the middle of nowhere. And I kept driving by this field, this meadow on the outskirts of this town. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Every time I drove by, what is that? What is that? And then I finally stopped one day and I'm like, yeah, this spot would be good for to do multifamily, to do medium density housing. And what's this other lot here that has this light industrial zoning? Like, yeah, we'll figure something out with that. Like, I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I convinced I can if you got a minute, this is deep
No,
right
yeah,
here.
let's go. Yeah.
It was 20 acres of land. And it happened to be in an opportunity zone, which is a whole nother topic of conversation.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it is getting extended. It means that if you have capital gains money and you owe capital gains taxes, if you invest this money into an opportunity zone into a fund that has property that they are going to buy in this zone, which is basically areas that need to be improved. Um, if you buy it for a dollar and you improve it for a dollar, the money that goes in is tax free after 10 years. And then if you sell the property at 10 years, it's tax free as well. So like
Yep.
if you're looking to like get out of the 1031 game, that's where the smart money is going. That's where they're
OZs.
headed. Period. Like you're a billionaire, you got legacy money to leave to your family, short of dying. Like if you're gonna get exit out of 1031, that's where you're headed. Period. Like
Opportunity zones.
period. Right? So that's where the billionaires go. Um, so I listed this land and lo and behold, on the last weeks of the listing, which was a year, took me a
Yeah.
long time to get the right people to come to it. Got this guy, affordable housing developer, made an offer on the 15 acres. That one I could talk about because he got approved and he's about to start construction. He got approved. Of course, the town council was behind it because there's a shortage of housing. They need housing.
Sure.
They need affordable housing. He's got tax credits from the federal government. He got tax credits from the state government, and he got some help from the city. Mind you, the infrastructure that he put in, he had to give that back to them. So the neighbors in the area were mad at me for bringing this to market, mad at me for getting under contract, and hella mad at me and the developer for proposing this development because they're like, not in our backyard.
Yeah,
Well,
sure.
several years later, he got the thing approved. He's starting construction. So the property next door, light industrial, client of mine, he'd been doing housing and he's like, dude, I want to get out of housing. Like I want to do something else. I'm like, well, I've got this light industrial listing. It's 5 acres. It's got a lot of junk on it, but the guy wants to sell. Um, it was on the market for like 1.35, 1.25, something like that. So he made an offer for 1.2, 1.2, yeah, 1.2 and change. And I told him, what about self-storage? He's like, what? He never thought about self-storage. So
Yeah.
he went and he talked to his banker friend. His banker is an investment banker. He's the head of a bank, and they underwrite these assets. And he's like, yeah, that market with that asset class, hells yeah, let's buy it. So they formed a partnership. They put it under contract. Talk about value creation. But both of these scenarios that I just told you, value creation textbook, like that's what you teach on. So the 1.2, put it on the contract for a year. So, earnest money going hard
Sure.
over a period of time. So what they did was they went to the town and said, hey, we want to get preliminary site plan approval. We would like to do self-storage here. What do we need to do? And they give them
Yeah.
the parameters. So they originally got approval for originally was 80,000 square feet. So then they hired a self-storage consultant to do a due diligence report, which basically is, does the market demand for there? What are the rates for that there? And what type of building or self-storage building should we build there? So they ended up designing. So the due diligence report said you need to do RV storage with some self storage. So they submitted that to the town. They gave a preliminary approval of 80,000 square feet pending civil and drainage. So then they started to raise money from friends and family, and then so the bankers' friends, the high net worth guys, they all wanted in. and
Sure.
and they're like, so like they wanted, like, let's juice this up. Like, where we need it to be, we need the pot to be sweeter. So they figured, well, how can we make the building bigger? So they pushed the envelope and pushed it to, like, I don't know, 125,000 square feet. So mind you, mostly RV condos is what it is. It's an RV because it's the
Okay.
kind of town, it's a destination area where condos for RVs is, there's another project in the area that is selling RV condos for 300,000.
Yeah.
For a class A rig, right? Class A rig. Like, now mind you, construction costs are up there, but valuation based on the ARV or the lease revenue that would come from it.
Tremendous.
So now that 1.2 piece of land with this preliminary site plan approval, no permits, not a shovel in the ground, that land is now, it was worth at the time we got offers for like 1.8, 1.9, 2 million. And then as they got site plan approval for the 125,000, got offers for 2.2, and it barely closed on it. That's value creation. So the
Wow.
site next door, he bought it for 1.8. When you say 205 units of multifamily product, and let's just say that the average unit cost was like, the ARV was 400,000. I mean, do the math. That's like close to $100 million,
Wow.
right? So that dirt was like, that at the time when he closed on it, that dirt was probably worth, without rezoning, was probably worth like 4 million. And then when he got rezoning approval, it was probably worth like 8 million.
Unbelievable.
And then when he got the
Unbelievable.
blueprints approved, that thing's probably worth like 10, 15 million. That's value
Wow.
creation.
Wow. There's so many points. There's so many exit strategies that you have with that. I mean, without even seeing the deal to all the way to the exit, you have opportunities where you could sell even prior. I mean, amazing,
That's
amazing,
what a lot
amazing.
of guys do. That's what a lot of guys do. They put the land under contract. They put the money they put at risk is, yes, it's the earnest money, but it's the engineering, you know, the civil engineering and
Yeah.
the architectural stuff, the
Yeah,
blueprints,
yeah.
the
Getting the land
preliminary
ready.
stuff. Right.
Absolutely.
That's the value creation. That play, like if you got a couple $100,000 and you want some real serious returns, that's the game you play. That's the
Uh,
that's what like the well-heeled do, but a very specific type of person. So I mean, you can do it on a smaller scale.
Bryce, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go if they would like to maybe learn more about the commercial space or land plays or get in touch with you out there in Phoenix, Arizona?
Hey, you can call me directly, or the easiest also is I have social profiles, Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. Bryce Perez in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm with Remax Fine Properties.
Bryce, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thank you, Dylan. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.